I'm Florence John Duo with this week's episode of Olsem Wanem. Human rights are fundamental aspects of every human life regardless of race, gender, size, and ethnicity. Every person has their own individuality way of living, thus it is vital to recognize and respect that. In reality, however, it does not always work that way. Some people find it impossible to respect others who are different, and they tend to discriminate against them or pick on them, and as a result, violating those people's rights as individuals.
Legal state is nobody can be discriminated or marginalized because of their gender or race, color, creed, or religion. All human beings have the same right and liberty to life as anybody else. Another charter that was signed with the UN, all countries that have signed have stated that their state or their government has the responsibility to provide or to guarantee the right to freedom for all individuals.
In Papua New Guinea, one such group is the transgender group. Well, what is transgender, or what does it mean to be a transgender? Transgender is someone who identifies with or expresses gender identity that differs from the one which corresponds to the person's gender at birth. For instance, someone who was born male may feel very strongly that he is a female. This doesn't mean that we marginalize them and think that they don't have rights because of who they are or how they behave. Many people are not so happy when they see transgender men walking around in their communities. They throw insults at them and discriminate against them.
As a human being, it is not right to discriminate against another or to stigmatize another. However, in Papua New Guinea, we have a culture where it is allowing that. But all rights are protected and provided by the law. Nobody has the right to go and discriminate or stigmatize against somebody else, because there are ways and there are laws that protect it. But just that the people are ignorant. They take advantage of that ignorance and they go about discriminating, stigmatizing. But there are laws, and the laws can protect. There is a criminal code that can protect people's rights to be stigmatized, marginalized, discriminated upon. But just that people are ignorant of it, despite them being victimized, they still go on with their lives.
And we as communities go through hard time, but we need to understand each other. The bottom line is their rights. We all have rights. We must respect human rights, whether they are transgender, whether they are women, or they are men or children. The bottom line is, let's educate each other and let's learn from each other and respect each other's rights. On the issue of transgender also.
The Olsem Wanem team talked to some transgender members, and they expressed some of their concerns about their rights as a person.
As a transgender, don't look at me as a transgender. Look at me as an ordinary person like the rest of the people. As a man and a woman with their rights. As a transgender, don't look at me as a transgender outside. I am equal, I have my rights as a citizen of this country, and I am also part of the community and the society that I come from. And I am just an ordinary person like you, so just look at me like that, because I have my rights as who I am, as a normal person like you and I.
Every human has its own rights, like human rights. So TGs are categorized under the human rights. So they should balance those rights, like you are TG, you don't do this and do that. but a normal guy can follow those human rights, but a TG can't follow it. Some people say that, but I want to emphasize this to other TG peers, like fellow mates of mine in other places. I want them to know and understand that human rights, like the rights that they will follow, they'll follow them under the human rights. Like they mustn't think that they are TGs and they won't follow those rights. They will follow those rights.
It's common sense, and I guess in Papua New Guinea, you're talking a Christian country, and everyone goes to church on Sunday, and the pastor keeps saying, treat others the way you want to be treated. We are a human being, Namipla, have the same rights as everyone else, and I know the church does preach on that a lot in terms of we are created equal, and when we die, we will all be buried same ground, and we'll all turn into dust.
Each one of us, God has given us the right to choose. The choice to make depends on each individual. That alone, I cannot take it from you and you cannot take it from me. Meaning that that's that person's right to be what he wants to be what he wants to become. And that alone, you and I have to respect that. It may be hard because of the surrounding of our culture and our beliefs, but if we respect that, then I don't think we will face discrimination and stigma in terms of transgender. Thank you.
Every human being has rights, and these rights are to be respected. The United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights puts emphasis that all individuals are equal in dignity and rights. In this segment, we take a look at Article 26 of the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights on the right to education. Article 26 clearly outlines that everyone has the right to education, and it shall be directed to the full development of the human personality and the strengthening of respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms. This, however, is not the case for some transgender men in Papua New Guinea. Some stopped going to school because of the discrimination and violence inflicted on them when they were in school.
Education is a right, it's a guaranteed right for all Papua New Guineans. It is also provided under the constitution that individual has the right to gain education and also to further their knowledge and understanding of how we go about doing things. And also, nobody has the right to stop somebody to go to school.
We now hear some transgender members tell their stories and the challenges they face in life.
Growing up was challenging. There were so many factors to why it was challenging, because it depends on how community treated me time I grew up. So when we were growing up in the community, the first thing that me experiencing was people were always staring at me, time me go but round on man look strong, not in, and then all whisper and I talk. They make comments, mostly negative comments, and so time you likely get, you have your parents to protect you, your mom and dad, and so most of the time you are under their care. But as you are growing up and you go to school, then your parents are not there in school with you. So that's where some of these challenges in our life begin, where you will have children or one school boy will be calling you names, and you stay home, you pretend to be sick. And so for plenty, all friends below me who are like me, all uh, who are not strong or finding some situation hard to mas long all handle him, also lose him school. But for me, it's different. Me still continue to school go, and I guess for me, my strength would be having family support, having family always being there for me and standing up for me and always encouraging me. Also having to have good friends in school. Not everyone is bad. So we got all problem or besties where they would stand up and fight back for me.
I grew up in a family where there's 4 of us, 3 boys and 1 girl, and I was very close to my sister, and growing up, like I was growing up as a transgender, and I come from a family that is very Christian. They're strong believers, and at first, when I was in the community school, my parents, especially my dad, really didn't accept who I was. He was kind of like against some of my reactions and what I was doing, as well as my 2 brothers. In 1994, my dad accepted me for who I am, but for my mom, she was very natural about it. When I was in high school, I actually got abused physically abused by some of my fellow students that I was with in the same grade. And when this fighting was happening, like they all ganged up on me. They ganged up on me because I was a transgender, and they didn't really like it. They didn't really like the idea of me being in there. So it was kind of like they were trying to chase me away, chase me out from there, from the school. And while that incident was happening, I was getting bruised up and getting punched and everything, when one of the the teachers was there, just looking and did not even come to my rescue. He was just standing there and just looking at them doing what they did to me. It's just in me up until now that every time when I sit back and try to recall to my past, this thing always haunts me. It still comes back to me, because if there was a teacher and then when I was getting abused like that, and then he should be at my rescue. I didn't want to go back to school. But my mom encouraged me a lot. She was encouraging me about future, what's going to be happening to you in future when you don't want to go to school. And after 2 weeks, my parents and I went back to school, and they laid a report to the headmaster, and I went back to school. But when I went back to school, I was living in fear.
Welcome back, and you're watching Olsem Wanem. Stigma and discrimination causes fear among transgender men in Papua New Guinea. We now continue our program with them sharing their experiences.
Okay, like in my lifetime, I mean, like we are 5 in the family, and all my families, they don't like me to become like that. They always treating me like and building me up, but only my mother is saving me, I mean supporting me. So I always love my mother because she's always supporting me when they get close to me. People threatening. Then I stopped at school and I went to the village and stayed at home. They used to get cross and building me up. My mom used to help me and telling them that stop that because I won't like that. Normal person like you.
Time me grow up, kamantapem, misa facing big bla challenge. Also, tok pilay lomi, bully lomi. But se mina sabe, misa bami working on them something. Misa down in yet na mi stop sem till me go to high school now. Me supposed to finish in high school, but just because lo disla tasal now me losing school na mi stop. Discrimination, stigma, and big plus something. And that's what also working. But lomi at lo community lomi, all sa working lomi, but there are some there also working long all. But me all looking me as a me normal long all because me been as a look community blow me as a me first as a me one first transgender law up blow me bla.
Hula community is a gifted community to me. I'm proud I'm from Hula because Hula people treat us as who I am and my other peers. People like verbally abused me several times.
Hula councillor Miss Salote Ravu also shared with the Olsem Wanem team some things that the community does to make transgender members of their community know that they are part and partial of the Hula community in Central Province.
Transgender in our community, our people are very tolerant people, meaning that we have these members who are living in our community. We accept them the way they are. It's a case where there's discrimination and stigma going on. Like I said earlier on, it's not an overnight thing for the community to accept that. But as time goes on, when we have this educational program, we learn to accept them the way they are.
In my village, Hula, where I come from, which is in the Central Province, there's quite a big number of transgenders living in the village, and there's some challenges that we all go through. It's not the majority and the whole village that really accept us for who we are, but there's about 3/4 of the villages accept us for who we are, but there's 1/4 of it is still against people like us.
One factor that contributes to stigma and discrimination is lack of advocacy activities at the community level as well as the national level. Strong emphasis is now being put on making more advocacy awareness activities in communities throughout Papua New Guinea.
Advocacy trainings to be done in the village level, to the church leaders, the community leaders. They really need to be educated on human rights, and more information to be disseminated to them in order for them to really know and understand that we are also part of the village, part of the society and the community, and we exist, you know, and we have our rights as who we are. So I think there should be more awareness and trainings on human rights and the law. Yeah.
Plan what are we going to do in this situation? There needs to be a lot more education and awareness, along all families, and community, so that parents and family, brother, sister, cousins, uncle, bubu, ogata must have what to do. So suppose Papa Mama carry one beginning kind of semi plan. Then they'll be able to know where to get information, how to treat the person, and show much respect. Where Piginam can grow as a healthy human being in this country and contribute meaningfully to this country's economy as well as the growth of this country, Papua New Guinea.
Welcome back. Family support is one aspect that holds the transgender members together. The support that they get from their families makes them look forward to facing another day despite the challenges that they face every day.
They really need support. They need family support. For them, they need to find that person in their family where they can get support from someone. If it's just one person, one is good enough. But if you have more than one, then you're blessed to have more than one. And I'm sure when you do open up to one person, then you'll be surprised that narapla by come, narapla by come. And so, to overcome your fear and your challenge, it's really within you yourself. You yourself need to overcome it. No one else will overcome it for you.
There's something that keeps them going is the family. The family gives them that support to make them come out and say, I'm like this. The family's love, the family's support, they stand with that member, transgender member. And that alone gives them the strength. And so when another family has another transgender there, and that family does that, these two families comes together and they build up that relationship. And so when they do that, the members, the transgender member, have that confidence, have the strength to go and look for someone, a member like that in another family. I see that it's a very powerful concept that is taking place in my village.
Main factor that keeps me going on now is my family. Regardless of who I am or regardless of my identity as a transgender, my family is very supportive. They support me all the way through. They support me for the work I do. When I got myself involved in this work, my mom always encourages me, and my uncles, my dad's brothers, their wives, and they're really happy that I'm now like this, doing this work, and the only encouragement they gave me is, we're very happy for what you are doing, because what you are doing will help a lot of people, and which is going to be a blessing to you. So you don't have to give up, you keep on going, we're always here for you, we'll support you all the way through. So the main factor is my family. The family support, I would say that regardless of a family member that is transgender, regardless of who he is or what he is, what his sexual orientations are, his sexual preferences are, how he expresses himself as a transgender. Regardless of that, he is equal to everyone that is in the family, is also part of the family.
We need more educational program regarding transgender and making a dialogue for us to understand each other and knowing their rights.
The biggest challenge to everyone is you can say things, you can back up in that plan and talk with them, but you don't know what tomorrow brings. What if tomorrow you carry one pla pigini and kind of same pla? What if tomorrow pigini blue carry one pla pigini or same that you got boo boo or same? What are you gonna do about it when people start stigmatizing and discriminating him? By you just ignoring him, not talk, I'm not blaming by you disclaiming, ma'am, are you going to reject that person? Or when the child born, is there a button for you to press? Na reverse him, not August. God give me another plan, like him, this lapigini. It's been given to you. So you have to deal with that situation. So that's my challenge.
If they face problems, the best way to go about is to seek assistance, to come to us to seek assistance so that we can find ways where we can help them to look after themselves and to have the same rights as other individuals. So for that, they have to come to us to seek proper advice. We can give them proper advice on how to go about doing things. But like I stated, their rights are same as everybody else. They cannot be discriminated because of their gender.
That's all we have time for on this episode of Olsem Wanem. Thank you to all who have participated in this episode. And please don't forget, we must respect each other's rights as we are all born equal in dignity and rights. If you have any comments or stories you would like to share, please contact us via the address showing on your screen or visit our Facebook page. Until next time, enjoy your viewing on your #1 station, EMTV, the lead broadcaster of the 2015 Pacific Games.